Namaste. Ministry of Education has released National Curriculum Framework 2022 in the month of October. It is a 360-page document on ECCE, that is Early Childhood Care and Development, Childhood Care and Education, and everything that we need to know about how to educate the children in the early years is given in that. We all understand that the formative years of the foundational stages of the child is very important in all respects, and the way the child, the holistic personality of the child is developed in the later years depends on what experiences he has in the foundational stage and how he learns in the foundational years. That will determine his communication skills, his relationships with his peers, with his elders, and also with the environment, his attitudes, his or her values, and his or her problem solving ability, the thinking ability, and of course literacy and numeracy. So now after a lot of research, it has been proven that the early childhood years are the most important, especially from 0 to 6 years. That is the time when the maximum development of the brain takes place. About 85% of the brain development takes place in this particular age, and thus we need to focus the best best experiences has to be given to the child in this stage. Now, Pictorial Vidyalaya Sangathan, the premier organization in the field of education, has come out with the idea of Bal Vatikas in the year, and Kendriya Vidyalaya number 1 Kulaba was one of the schools where the Bal Vatikas started. Coming to foundational numeracy and literacy. About foundational literacy, all of us were very much aware. The awareness was there about how to start with in the foundational years, that we start with listening, speaking, reading, and then writing. But when it came to foundational numeracy, that is, how do we introduce the various concepts, first of all the numbers, to a very young child who has just completed 3 years or 4 years or 5 years, it was not understood by all the stakeholders properly. And most of the teachers, they used to follow the traditional method or the conventional method of writing the symbols on the blackboard and then asking the child to repeat it or write it down in their notebooks. But NCF 2022 says that the best method that can be followed for developing foundational literacy, foundational numeracy skills is the ELPS method. And today I am here to elaborate and give examples of this ELPS method that has to be followed for foundational numeracy. And it can be followed in the preparatory stage also, but foundational stage, it is absolutely necessary that we follow this method. Now, the Panchadi pedagogy says that the way in which our classes should be conducted is Aditi, Bodh, Abhyas, Prayog, and then Prasad. That is, the class should start with introduction and then finally go to how it will be utilized or how the child will use that concept in his daily life. So today I am here, you can see a lot of things on the table. So lots of activities we conduct in our school. So I am here to demonstrate one method that all our Bal Vatika teachers should know, and this this should be definitely, this should be the method that should be followed for foundational numeracy. Now in foundational numeracy we have to follow the ELPS method. ELPS method starts with E, and E stands for experience. First we have to give lots of concrete experiences to the child. The child who is completed 3 years, he must have already had lot of experience, or maybe having lot of experiences in his home or the environment in which he lives, and those experiences can be brought to the classroom. In addition to that, materials that are readily available in the child's immediate environment, depending upon the place in which the child lives, those experiences have to be provided so that the child can relate to the materials that are used in the classroom. Now here I am, first of all, these colorful beads, these experiences, this can be given to the children and ask them to count these numbers if they are able to. First of all, most important thing before we start any class, before we start any method pedagogy, or before we start any kind of methodology, the most important thing the teacher has to keep in mind is the learning outcome. What is the learning outcome? What do you want the child to learn by doing this activity in the class? Now I have taken numbers from 1 to 10, that is my learning outcome. By the end of this class, by giving all these experiences, my child in the class or the children in the class should be able to count or understand and the numbers from 1 to 10. So it starts with the giving concrete experiences to the children. There are so many things that are available in the class, water bottles, children are having their own tiffin boxes. In addition to that, we can provide them various experiences in the school. Now for this, the teacher has to properly prepare for the class, and here I am having a couple of things that I think will be useful. So first of all, the beads. Beads are very interesting, and mind you, the beads should not be too small or too big for the children to handle, because their fingers are very small. So I have chosen here colorful beads. These are in pink, yellow, red and slightly purplish color, different colors. The moment children see this, they will be very much interested, and they can start counting, and even if they are not able to count, at least touching these beads and handling them, it will be very useful for the children. So by this we are giving a concrete experience. Now various other materials also can be used. For example, these seeds, these are chana seeds, rajma seeds, and this here also please take care that the seeds are, the size of the seeds are little bit bigger so that the children are able to handle it. Now here the concrete experiences can be given, and it can be done in a group, or children can do it by themselves. They are able to do it, and also with the help of the teacher. So we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. So even if the child is not able to count properly, even if it is not coming in order, suppose the child is saying 1, 2, 4, 5, it's okay, because it is a learning process and children learn by doing mistakes. So other things that can be, this can be used as to give experiences. The other thing, very handy thing that can be used in the class is this ice cream sticks. These are readily available, and anybody can handle these ice cream sticks. This also can be provided to the children and ask them to count the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 10, not more than that. Next experience we can give them is through this straw. These are all, these straws are not plastic straws, they are paper straws. And with these again we can give, actually we can give different groups, we can make different groups and give different materials to the different groups. Why? Because NCF 2022 says that the 3 things that we have to provide to the children when they are learning is choice, wonder and joy. So if a child is interested in handling beads, let the child handle beads. The child is interested in handling ice cream sticks, let him or her do that. Another child is interested in handling straws, this also can be given to the children. Various other materials can also be used, for example leaves can be used, or any other things, stones can be used which are readily available to the children. So here also the numbers can be counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So my learning outcome, what I want my children to learn is to learn numbers from 1 to 10, not nothing less than that, nothing more than that. So these are the concrete experiences that I am providing to the child. Next, children are very much interested in sorting activities. So for sorting activities, I have this teaching learning material. This is very colorful and very effective teaching learning material. This can be provided to the children in the class. This can be given and ask them to count these. These are shapes like this in different colors, butterfly shapes, and these are flowers. If we use such things, inside the class, mind you, there will not be any child who will not be interested in your class. If you use various different kind of materials, colorful materials like this, and provide a very happy environment, joyful environment in the class, you will definitely become the favorite of your students. And this video particularly I am making for Balvatika teachers, and also for the new parents, the parents, they'll be very young, the children are in Balvatika, the parents are very young and they exactly do not know how the whole process works, how the understanding, how the observation, how the things take, how the child learns. So this video is also for them. Understand that there are lots of videos available in the net, but the exact process is not mentioned properly in that. So this video, I think it will be useful to all the parents and all the teachers who are handling Balvatikas and also the foundational stages in all schools. Okay, now this can be sorted, this can be given to the children in groups and children can use it, it can be sorted with colors or it can be sorted as per the shapes. So these are the shapes. These are flowers and these are the butterflies. So children can just sort, and after sorting out they can just count how many are there. How many are there? For example, 1, 2, 3, 4. And here 1, 2, 3, 4. You can add more, 5 or 6 and things like that. So these kind of colorful things if you provide to the children, they will definitely learn numbers from 1 to 10. Now we have the first step of ELPS is that giving concrete experience to the child using various things is done. Now the next thing that can be, next step that can be done, that has to be done is the language part. Whatever the child has learned, he has to express it in his language, his or her language. Now if the child is a very small child, which is 3-year-old, if the child is having difficulty in expressing English or any other language, then the child can definitely express in his or her mother tongue. So that the language development takes place. Here I would definitely like to use rhymes and songs, and a teacher has to provide rhymes and song experiences to the child so that the child enjoys and learns the language. So for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that song 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, once I caught a fish and I 8, 9, 10, then I let it go again. So that song can be used. So first mind you that it should be forward counting. So that song children can enjoy, they can sing, and the language of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Up to that the expression of the concrete thing in language is developed. Here you can also perform activities inside the classroom, or you can take them to the playroom and then do the activity, like asking the children to come and form standing 2s or 3s or 4s or 5s, like that. So there also children will understand the concept of numbers, and they will identify it with the language. So these two activities can be done for development of language. And then the next step that has to be followed is representing what the child has already learned in pictures. Okay. Now here we can use flashcards. Now I have a number of flashcards here which can be used. Some beautiful colorful flashcards like this can be shown to the children and ask the children to say, count how many are there. This can be told by the teachers. See here there are 3 tomatoes, 1 mango, 4 mangoes, 1 pineapple, 1 orange, 1 book, 2 oranges, 1 flower, 6 flowers. So it's not necessary that you complete the whole process in one period. You can take your own time, and you can also see whether the children have learned the concept properly. If the children have not learned one part of this properly, you can repeat the activities and see to it that most of the children learn the first step and then only move to the next step. Now here with these picture cards or flashcards, the next step we have achieved, that is pictorial representation of the numbers. What the child has already learned, he or she has understood that it can be by observation, pictorial representation of this. Here of course you can make use of the blackboard also, and one thing I would strongly recommend is the use of this slates. These were used earlier when I was a student. I used to use this. Our teachers used to ask us to write in this. Write or draw or anything, any kind of your expression that can be done in this. So what happens is that when you write in this, if you provide colorful chalks to the children can use this. They can draw a ball, 1, 2, 3, and then they can count 1, 2, 3, or they can draw flowers, anything up to their imagination and up to their creativity. But these slates are so useful and so versatile. They can be used not only for foundational numeracy, it can be used for foundational literacy also. So I recommend the use of slate for foundational numeracy and literacy. So now we have come to the third stage, that is, first is giving them experience, second is showing it in language, and then expressing it in the form of pictures. Now the next stage only comes our symbols, that is representation of what you have learned in symbols. So earlier what we used to do in traditional method, the symbol used to be first projected, and that is the reason we see our children have not achieved foundational literacy and numeracy even after so many years. Various organizations, they have seen that our children, of course it varies from different states, it has seen that still our children, 30, 40, sometimes even 50% of the children are not able to read, or not able to write, or not having the numeracy skills even after completion of class 2. So this is a mission, Nipun Bharat mission for foundational literacy and numeracy. So this has to be taken very, very seriously. And yes, here after this ELPS method, these kinds of charts are available in the market. This after that whole thing or the 4 steps are done, then this can be represented as numbers. Like 1 apple is, this is a symbol for 1, this is a symbol for 2, this is a symbol for 3, this is a symbol for 4. So pictures are there and then the representation. Pictures are there and then the representation of the numbers. But don't be too ambitious and take all the numbers together. We should first start with number 1 to 5 or number 1 to 10 and then go on further. Now this whole process is ELPS process is over. Of course you can add your own activities, you can use different kinds. So here I am having this kind of colorful aids also. These also can be used for giving concrete experiences to the children. Now once our activities, lots of activities are done, how do we assess the children? This can be used to assess the child, the evaluation part, wherein you will understand whether whatever learning outcome you had in your mind, it is achieved or not. So here you can ask this kind of teaching learning material. This is a strip, and here we are having numbers from 1 to 15. You can have numbers from 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 depending upon what you are going to teach. So these numbers, suppose this is the child identifies, child has learned what is the symbol. Now we will ask the child what is the before number. The before number is 6, and what is the after number. We will keep it like this and move the strip. So this activity will be very helpful in understanding whether whatever you have taught the children are able to, children have learned it or not. And if the child has not learned it, then what to do? Then you have to repeat the activities. Wherever in these 4 steps the child has not understood any step in between, you have to repeat the activities. Now mind you, this activity, this ELPS method can be used for teaching all other concepts like place value, fractions, decimals, or anything, multiplication, addition, division, anything, any concept that is necessary for the child to learn in the foundational stage. Now lots of activities I have described here. I hope this video will be useful to all the Balvatika teachers and those teachers who are handling the foundational classes, and also to the parents who do not know how to start on how to teach the children. There are many activities that we in our we are over ambitious and we want to teach the children in class. The moment the child turns 4 or 5, we want to teach the addition, multiplication, and very proudly I have seen parents saying that my child already knows multiplication, my child already knows division when they are in junior KG and senior KG. So there are the child's development takes place in stages, so parents have to understand that the curricular goals that is set by NCF 2020, it has to be kept in mind, and teachers have to keep the learning outcomes in mind and then plan all the activities. Thank you so much.